What if I told you that the job you are holding on to right now might not be your safety? It might be your prison. That the very thing you call security may be the thing holding back your destiny. Too many people wake up every day, dragging themselves into work they hate, settling for paychecks while their dreams collect dust. They silence their passion for the sake of comfort, but deep inside, they know they are meant for more. If you've ever thought of quitting your job, this message is for you, and you need to watch it until the end. Because before you make any decision, you must understand that quitting is not about leaving something behind. It is about stepping into something greater. The cost of staying comfortable is far greater than most people realize. At first, comfort feels safe. It gives you a steady paycheck, a predictable routine, and the illusion of security. But beneath that surface lies a quiet danger. The slow draining of your purpose, passion, and potential. Many people wake up every morning to jobs they dislike, telling themselves that it is the practical thing to do. They convince themselves that staying is easier than risking change. But over time, that choice of safety becomes the very prison that holds them back from the life they were created to live. When you settle for a job you hate, you begin to silence the voice inside you that longs for something greater. At first, it may just feel like mild dissatisfaction, wishing you had more freedom, creativity, or fulfillment. But the longer you stay, the louder that inner voice becomes. It nags at you in quiet moments, reminding you that you are meant for more. Yet, because comfort numbs the urgency, you ignore it. Slowly, you begin to accept mediocrity as normal. And that is one of the highest costs, losing sight of your own potential because you chose the illusion of safety over the challenge of growth. The cost also shows up in your passion. Passion is what makes life vibrant, what makes you wake up excited to start the day, and what gives you energy even when challenges come. But passion cannot survive in an environment that drains you daily. When you spend years in a place that stifles your creativity, demands only your compliance, your fire begins to dim. You stop dreaming. You stop imagining. You stop pushing yourself. Over time, the passion that once fueled you is replaced by routine, and life becomes a cycle of survival rather than a journey of fulfillment. Comfort also robs you of time, the one resource you cannot get back. Every year spent in a job you hate is a year you could have spent building your true calling. Many people realize too late that while they were clinging to comfort, opportunities passed them by. They sacrificed their best years of energy and creativity at the altar of predictability. When you look back, the regret is not about the risks you took. It is about the ones you never dared to take. The cost of staying comfortable is the regret of what could have been. Potential is another victim of comfort. Every person is born with unique gifts, skills, and dreams. But potential is like a seed. It only grows when it is planted in the right environment and nurtured with effort. A toxic or unfulfilling job is like planting that seed in barren soil. It may survive, but it will never thrive. The more time you spend in the wrong place, the less room you give your potential to expand. Staying comfortable tricks you into thinking you are fine, when in reality you are only existing, not excelling. The saddest part is that comfort does not actually protect you. People stay in jobs they hate because they fear instability, failure, or the unknown. But the truth is, no job is ever fully secure. Companies close, roles change, and opportunities vanish overnight. What felt like stability can disappear in a moment. The real security lies not in staying where you are, but in building yourself, sharpening your skills, and stepping into a life aligned with your purpose. Comfort delays that growth, leaving you unprepared when change inevitably comes. Ultimately, the cost of staying comfortable is the life you never get to live. It is the missed chance to fulfill your purpose, to ignite your passion, and to realize your full potential. It is waking up one day with the sinking realization that you traded years of possibility for a paycheck that never satisfied your soul. Comfort is easy in the short term, but devastating in the long term. So ask yourself, is the comfort you're clinging to worth the purpose you're sacrificing? Is the paycheck worth your passion? Is the routine worth your potential? Because the true cost of staying comfortable is not just unhappiness at work. It is the slow death of the life you were meant to live. Fear versus faith in decision-making is the very crossroads where most people find themselves stuck. On one side is fear, the voice that whispers of failure, loss, and the unknown. On the other side is faith, the quiet strength that pushes you toward growth, possibility, and freedom. The decisions you make at this intersection determine the direction of your life. Too many stay trapped because fear convinces them that safety is better than risk, even if safety means sacrificing their dreams. Yet the truth is, faith is the only way to step into growth, because nothing worth having ever comes without uncertainty. Fear is powerful because it plays on what we cannot see. It exaggerates the risks, magnifies the worst-case scenarios, and convinces us that staying where we are is the only way to survive. Fear asks, what if you fail? What if you lose everything? What if you're not good enough? And because those questions strike at the core of human insecurity, people surrender to them. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, or routines that kill their passion, because fear has taught them to believe that the unknown is more dangerous than misery. But faith tells a different story. Faith does not deny the risks. It acknowledges them but chooses to believe in possibility anyway. Faith says, what if it works? What if you succeed? What if stepping out is the very thing that unlocks your future? Faith understands that the unknown is not always a threat. Often it is an invitation. Where fear sees danger, faith sees opportunity. Where fear says stay, faith says grow. And growth only happens when you dare to step beyond what is familiar. The trap of fear is that it keeps you small. You convince yourself that playing it safe will protect you, but in reality it limits you. You may avoid failure, but you also avoid success. You may avoid rejection, but you also avoid discovery. Fear tricks you into trading your potential for predictability. And while that trade may give you short-term relief, it robs you of long-term fulfillment. Every time you let fear decide for you, you shrink a little more until one day you look back and realize your life was built on hesitation instead of courage. Faith, on the other hand, expands you. Every step taken in faith stretches your limits, builds your strength, and proves to you that you are capable of more than you imagined. Faith doesn't mean the road will be easy, but it means you will keep moving even when it is hard. It fuels resilience because you are no longer driven by fear of failure, but by belief in growth. And even when challenges come, faith turns them into lessons instead of dead ends. Fear sees obstacles as walls. Faith sees them as stepping stones. One of the greatest truths about fear and faith is that they both require belief in something unseen. Fear believes in the possibility of failure. Faith believes in the possibility of success. Both look ahead without guarantees. The difference is that fear paralyzes you, while faith propels you. You get to choose which one drives your decisions. The cost of letting fear rule your choices is a life half-lived. You may avoid certain pains, but you will also avoid the fullness of joy, purpose, and success. Faith, however, unlocks freedom. It frees you from the prison of what if, and pushes you into the open field of what could be. It gives you the courage to quit jobs that drain you, to pursue dreams that inspire you, and to take risks that align you with your purpose. So when you stand at the crossroads of decision-making, ask yourself, will I let fear keep me trapped, or will I let faith set me free? Fear will always give you reasons to stay, but faith will always give you reasons to grow. And the life you desire will never be built on fear. It will only be built on faith. Your job versus your calling is one of the most defining distinctions you can ever understand in life. A job provides stability, structure, and survival. It pays the bills, puts food on the table, and allows you to meet your immediate needs. But a calling goes beyond survival. It ignites purpose, fuels passion, and makes you come alive. A job can keep you breathing, but a calling gives you a reason to breathe. Too many people confuse the two and spend their lives trapped in work that sustains them physically but starves them spiritually. The truth is, you were not created just to exist. You were created to live fully, and that happens when you step into your calling. A job, by its very nature, is transactional. You trade time and effort for money. There is nothing wrong with that. And for many people, a job is necessary at different seasons of life. But when your entire existence is defined only by a paycheck, you will always feel empty, no matter how high the salary. The reason is simple: money can cover your needs, but it cannot fill your soul. It cannot give you fulfillment, meaning, or joy. That is why so many people dread Monday mornings, live only for the weekend, and count the hours until the workday ends. They are alive, but they are not living. A calling, however, is transformational. It is not just what you do, it is who you are. A calling aligns your gifts, your passions, and your purpose into work that matters. When you live your calling, you don't just survive the week. You look forward to it. Even when it is difficult, you feel alive because you know your work carries meaning beyond the paycheck. A calling drives you to give your best, not because you have to, but because you want to. It pulls greatness out of you because it demands the fullest expression of your potential. The danger of staying only in a job is that it slowly numbs your spirit. Over time, you may begin to settle, telling yourself that comfort is enough. But deep down, there is always a restlessness, a sense that something is missing. That restlessness is your calling trying to get your attention. It whispers in your quiet moments, reminding you that you are capable of more, that you are created for impact, not just income. If you ignore it long enough, you risk reaching the end of your life full of regret for the things you never pursued. The difference between a job and a calling is also seen in how they affect others. A job may benefit you and your family financially, but a calling benefits the world. It impacts lives, solves problems, inspires change, and leaves a legacy. A calling stretches beyond yourself and connects you to something greater. When you follow your calling, your work no longer feels like just work. It becomes service, influence, and contribution. It leaves behind ripples that continue long after the paycheck is spent. This doesn't mean that everyone should quit their job immediately to chase a dream. Jobs can be stepping stones to your calling. They can teach discipline, provide resources, and create stability while you prepare for something bigger. The key is not to confuse the two. A job is temporary, a calling is permanent. A job pays you, a calling fulfills you. One sustains your body, the other awakens your soul. Ultimately, the choice comes down to whether you want to simply exist or truly live. A job can buy you comfort, but only a calling can give you joy. A job may retire you one day, but a calling will inspire you for life. A job might leave you forgotten, but a calling leaves a legacy. So ask yourself honestly, are you alive? Are you truly living? Are you chasing paychecks, or are you pursuing purpose? Because at the end of the day, money can keep you alive, but your calling, that is what makes you come alive. And once you step into it, you will never again confuse survival with living. Courage to take the leap is the dividing line between those who dream about change and those who actually experience it. Transformation has never belonged to the ones who played it safe, because safety and growth cannot exist in the same space. If you want breakthroughs, you must be willing to face risk, uncertainty, and discomfort. Staying in your comfort zone might feel secure, but it keeps you locked in patterns that never allow your potential to expand. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of it. Every leap toward transformation begins with that decision. Comfort zones are appealing because they protect us from the unknown. They provide predictability, stability, and a sense of control. But the same walls that keep out fear also keep out opportunity. You cannot discover new strength, new skills, or new levels of success while staying in the same place. The very act of leaping, of choosing risk over routine, stretches you in ways that comfort never can. And in that stretch, you discover who you truly are. Taking the leap requires faith in something bigger than your fear. Fear will always give you reasons to stay. It will remind you of past failures, magnify possible losses, and whisper doubts into your mind. But courage listens to a different voice. The voice that says, what if it works? What if this leap is the doorway to the life you've been praying for? Courage does not erase fear, but it refuses to let fear control the outcome. Every person who has ever transformed their life has felt fear, but they chose courage anyway. The leap also tests your commitment. It is easy to talk about change, but leaping forces you to act. When you step outside the known, you prove to yourself that your dreams mean more than your comfort. That decision builds resilience, because once you've taken one leap, the next becomes easier. Courage compounds, and every leap builds momentum toward transformation. Another truth about courage is that it rarely feels convenient. The timing will never be perfect. You will never have every detail figured out or every risk eliminated. Waiting for the perfect moment is often just another way of hiding from fear. Courage accepts that the leap will always feel scary, but it chooses to jump anyway. Progress comes not from waiting for fear to disappear, but from moving in spite of it. The leap is also where breakthroughs are born. Nothing significant in life happens without risk. The greatest careers, the most fulfilling relationships, the boldest innovations, all began with someone daring to leave behind comfort. When you leap, you expose yourself to possibility. Yes, you risk failure, but you also give yourself the chance for success. And even if you fall, the lessons you gain make you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the next leap. Failure inside a leap is still growth, but failure to leap at all is stagnation. Courage also changes your perspective. Once you step outside your comfort zone, you begin to see how small it really was. What once felt terrifying becomes manageable, and what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. Courage expands your world, showing you opportunities you could never have seen from inside the walls of safety. And the more you leap, the more you realize that the only limits you face are the ones you allowed fear to build. Ultimately, courage is the bridge between potential and reality. You can have dreams, talent, and purpose, but without the courage to act, they remain unrealized. Courage is what turns vision into results. It is what transforms someday into today. It is the key that unlocks every breakthrough. So if you feel fear right now, understand this fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal that you are standing on the edge of growth. The leap you are afraid to take may be the very leap that changes everything. Transformation will not come while you cling to comfort. It will come when you gather your courage, take the risk, and jump into the unknown. Because the life you want is waiting, but you will only reach it when you dare to leap. Building before leaving is one of the most important principles for anyone who wants to step into a new chapter of life. Bold moves are powerful, but they must be supported by preparation, skills, and discipline. Too many people get inspired to quit their job, change their path, or chase a dream without laying the foundation needed to sustain it. Courage may push you to leap, but preparation ensures that leap doesn't break you. If you truly want transformation, you must take the time to build yourself before stepping out. Growth is not just about leaving behind what no longer serves you. It's about becoming strong enough to handle what's ahead. Preparation is the first key. No battle is won without a strategy, and no vision thrives without planning. Before leaving your job or stepping into something new, you must prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and practically. This means asking honest questions. Do I know where I'm going? Do I have the resources to survive the transition? Am I ready for the challenges that will come with this new path? Preparation gives you clarity. It equips you to navigate uncertainty with confidence instead of panic. Without it, passion quickly burns out in the face of reality. Skills are another essential part of the foundation. Dreams without skills collapse under pressure. You cannot step into a calling if you haven't sharpened the tools needed to succeed in it. This is why the waiting season is not wasted. It is training ground. Every day you spend learning, practicing, and mastering your craft is an investment in your future. The skills you build before leaving are the very skills that will carry you when challenges arise. Too many people underestimate this step, rushing into new opportunities only to realize they were unprepared. Building skills ensures that when your chance comes, you are ready to rise to it instead of being crushed by it. Discipline is the glue that holds preparation and skills together. It is one thing to dream of change. It is another to be disciplined enough to do the work consistently. Discipline means showing up daily, even when motivation is low. It means managing your time, your energy, and your habits with intentionality. Without discipline, preparation remains incomplete and skills remain unused. With discipline, you build habits that create long-term success. It is not the big leaps that shape your destiny. It is the daily steps of discipline that prepare you to handle the leap when it comes. Building before leaving also protects you from unnecessary regret. Many people quit too soon, fueled by emotion rather than readiness. They find themselves unprepared financially, untrained professionally, and unstable emotionally. Instead of walking into freedom, they walk into chaos. The result is discouragement, and sometimes they retreat back into the very situations they were trying to escape. But when you take the time to build before leaving, you create stability. You are not running away from something, you are stepping towards something greater with the strength to sustain it. This principle also teaches patience. In a world that glorifies instant success, building slowly feels frustrating. But true transformation is never rushed. Every season of preparation, every hour of practice, every lesson learned adds weight to your foundation. Patience during the building season ensures that when you finally take the leap, you do not crumble under the pressure of what you've been praying for. The delay is not denial, it is development. You are being prepared for the responsibility of your calling. Another benefit of building before leaving is confidence. When you know you have prepared, sharpened your skills, and built discipline, you step out with a different kind of strength. Fear loses its grip because you are not leaping recklessly. You are leaping with readiness. Confidence comes not just from belief, but from evidence. And that evidence is the foundation you built in the silence, long before anyone saw your progress. So before you make a bold move, take the time to build. Prepare yourself with wisdom. Sharpen your skills with consistency. Strengthen your discipline with daily habits. Do not despise the building season, because it is the very thing that ensures your future success. Leaving without building may give you a temporary rush, but it cannot sustain you. Building before leaving may take longer, but it guarantees that when you step into your new chapter, you will not just survive, you will thrive. The reward of pursuing purpose is far greater than anything a paycheck, a title, or social approval can ever provide. When you align with your true path, life shifts from being something you endure to something you embrace. Purpose breathes meaning into your work, your relationships, and your choices. It gives direction to your energy and turns even the hardest struggles into stepping stones. Pursuing purpose may require sacrifice, risk, and leaving behind what feels safe, but the reward is freedom, fulfillment, and a kind of success that cannot be measured only in numbers. It is measured in impact, peace, and legacy. One of the greatest rewards of pursuing purpose is freedom. So many people feel chained to jobs, routines, and obligations that do not align with their hearts. They live for the weekend countdown to retirement or dream about a life they never take action to create. But when you walk in purpose, those chains fall away. You no longer feel trapped because your work and your passion are aligned. Freedom does not mean life will be easy or without struggle. It means that even when challenges come, you face them knowing you are on the right path. That freedom allows you to wake up with excitement instead of dread, because every day becomes a step towards something meaningful rather than a repeat of empty cycles. Fulfillment is another reward that only purpose can bring. You can achieve worldly success, money, recognition, status, and still feel empty if you are not living your calling. Fulfillment comes when your actions reflect your values, when your gifts are being used, and when your work contributes to something bigger than yourself. Purpose transforms labor into service and effort into joy. Even on the hardest days, you feel a deep sense of satisfaction because you know your time is being spent in alignment with who you are. This fulfillment cannot be bought. It can only be discovered by pursuing what you were meant to do. Success also takes on a new definition when you pursue purpose. Instead of measuring success only by what you earn, you begin to measure it by who you become and the difference you make. True success is not just having more, it is becoming more. It is growing in character, building resilience, and leaving a mark that outlives you. Pursuing purpose ensures that your success is not shallow or temporary, but rooted in something eternal. Your achievements stop being about impressing others and start being about fulfilling the mission within you. Another reward of pursuing purpose is peace. Living outside of purpose creates constant tension. You always feel like something is missing. But when you align with your path, that tension is replaced with calm assurance. Even in uncertainty, you carry peace because you know you are where you are meant to be. This peace is not about the absence of struggle. It is about the presence of clarity. And clarity makes life lighter, because you are no longer pulled in 100 directions. You are guided by one. Pursuing purpose also impacts others. When you live your calling, you naturally inspire those around you. Your courage to step out becomes an example. Your work becomes a source of encouragement, and your life becomes a message. Purpose is contagious. When people see you living in alignment, it awakens something in them too. Your pursuit of purpose does not only reward you, it rewards everyone whose life is touched by your journey. The ultimate reward, however, is that you leave behind regret. Many people reach the end of their lives wishing they had been braver, wishing they had chased what mattered, wishing they had lived with meaning instead of fear. Pursuing purpose now ensures that your life will not be defined by what if, but by I did. It allows you to finish your race with satisfaction, knowing you gave your gifts fully and lived with intention. So yes, pursuing purpose requires courage, and yes, it comes with challenges. But the reward far outweighs the cost. Freedom replaces chains, fulfillment replaces emptiness, true success replaces shallow achievements, peace replaces regret, and legacy replaces forgetfulness. The reward of pursuing purpose is nothing less than a transformed life, one where every step has meaning, every effort has impact, and every day carries the satisfaction of knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be. Staying in a job you hate may give you a paycheck, but it will never give you peace. Comfort zones may feel safe, but they drain your purpose, passion, and potential. Fear may try to keep you trapped, but faith is what sets you free. A job can keep you alive, but only your calling can make you truly live. And to step into that calling, you need courage. The courage to take the leap, the patience to build before leaving, and the discipline to prepare yourself for the road ahead. Yes, the journey requires risk. Yes, it demands sacrifice. But the reward of pursuing your true path is worth every ounce of effort. Freedom, fulfillment, and success follow when you align with purpose. So stop settling for survival when you were created for impact. Do not waste your life chained to comfort. Take the lessons, prepare wisely, silence the fear, and then step boldly into the life you were meant to live. Because in the end, the greatest risk is not leaving your job. It's never leaving the prison of a life unlived.